What's going on? It's your boy BT, and we are live here on YouTube. It is 1:23 p.m. here on the East Coast, and we are reporting to you live and direct from the greatest city in the world, and that is, in fact, Dania Beach, Florida, if you didn't know. So we're gonna, right now, as you guys can see, I got the 80s Everton kit on. Big shout out to Everton trying to finish the season out strong. We play Burnley in roughly hour and a half, so I figured I would dedicate the next hour and a half of my time to just talking boxing with the fine folks of TSS. And so yeah, you guys, we can talk boxing until 3 o'clock, till Everton plays, and then I'm gonna go watch the Blues play the last game at Goodison Park today, and just enjoy that. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of interesting things to talk about in the world of boxing. We can definitely start off with the most recent developments in the Teofimo Lopez versus Vasily Lomachenko saga. It was reported that Teofimo Lopez will be fighting in an IBF Eliminator July 19th in Maryland. And that's great stuff for him because he needs to position himself to get a Lomachenko title shot. Lomachenko says, "I will not fight you without a belt." So he's not gonna fight him unless he gets a belt. So fair play to Lomachenko, to Lopez, because a lot of times we hear fighters call out bigger names in the division, and they have no intention of fighting them. They don't take the necessary steps to try to fight those guys. But here we have a guy in Lopez, a young, ambitious, talented fighter who, okay, is he fighting a guy that we know a lot about? No, he's fighting some Japanese guy who has never fought outside Japan, and it is what it is there. But at least he's going with the proper channel. He's trying to position himself to become mandatory to try to get that big fight with Lomachenko. So you gotta give him that. Let's see. We got my man Rod Rook Davies in the building. What's up, Rod Rook? How you doing, champ? We only got 2 people here right now, so just when you guys do start funneling in here, let me know what city, what state, what continent you guys are watching from. Let me know. Just like if you have any questions, drop them down below. Hit that like button as always. Just rate that like button. And we'll definitely be going with some more boxing news. So yeah, that's the news right there, though. Teofimo Lopez is fighting what's the guy's name, Hatanaki or something like that, from Japan, who's ranked number 3. He's ranked number 3 in the IBF. The number 1 and number 2 spots in the IBF are both vacant. So the winner of that fight on July the 19th actually becomes the mandatory for Richard Commey's title, and we're looking at possibly a Lopez Commey fight in the latter part of 2019, and then that will set up, if Lopez is able to win this fight, beat Commey, then he's in prime position for a Lomachenko unification fight in the first quarter of 2020, which I think would be great because Bob Arum has talked about making that fight during Super Bowl weekend, which for those of you who are from the UK who aren't familiar with American sports culture, Super Bowl weekend is probably like one of the biggest weekends in all of sports here in America. So it'll be big, for Arum to make that fight around that time, and it'd be a great way to introduce 2 of his best fighters to the American sports public. The only thing is it's on pay-per-view, so that might be where it goes wrong. But I know Bob Arum has stated his intention to want to make a Lomachenko versus Lopez fight Super Bowl weekend 2020, which Super Bowl weekend is generally in around February time. So February, March, somewhere that time, we could expect Lopez versus Lomachenko. Lomachenko has also come out himself recently in light of what Lopez has been saying about him all these in all these different interviews. He's pretty much stated that he's gonna make Teofimo Lopez pay for everything he said. All right, he's warned him, pretty much giving him a very stern warning that he will hold him for every word he said. I'll read you guys the quotes verbatim so you guys can hear what he said. These quotes that I'm reading to you guys were actually transcribed in an interview on Boxing Scene from his YouTube channel. He has a YouTube channel, I think it's called Lomachenko TV or Loma TV, and they interview him in Ukrainian, and they have English subtitles. So Lomachenko speaks a lot more openly on his YouTube channel, so you get a better insight as to how he thinks when you go watch his video. So I'm going to read you guys what Lomachenko said in regards to Teofimo Lopez and just how he feels Lopez has been using his name for clout. Okay, here's what he said. He said, I quote, In this situation, objectively as well as subjectively, it is clear that they are trying to show their strength. A strong person is never going to shout about it. They are never going to try to insult somebody. That person is going to silently do their thing and prove it with their actions and not words. So far, it is just a lot of talking. Him showing his strategic thinking and probably business, because before that, when he wasn't saying anything, nobody knew who he was or even heard his name, despite the fact that he ended his fights with knockouts. At some point, they probably chose a strategy or a tactic to use my name to promote him and promote that fight in order to make money on that. It is working pretty well because America swallows that. So it's working pretty well. On my side, I like that too because I'm in a very good situation. I'm in a very good position. He has talked himself into so much that I know exactly how I'm going to hold that fight. I'm going to hold him accountable in that fight for every word that has been said. Additionally, I do not need to do anything to promote that fight. I'm not going to do anything. I'll stay silent, and then we will go into the ring. And in the ring, each will do and show how much he is worth. So Lomachenko, he's sticking his chest out and he's posturing himself and he's letting Teofimo Lopez know, like, look, listen, little boy, I'm not fighting you right now, but when I fight you, I'm gonna bitch slap you. That in so many words, that's what he's saying to Teofimo Lopez. And I think this is good for the fight because we've heard Lopez do the majority of the talking, and now we see Lomachenko. Slowly but surely, we're starting to see him get vocal. We saw Lomachenko. If you guys watched the Crawford Conor undercard, they had a little segment where Lomachenko was in English talking about what he thought about Lopez, and he was pretty much calling him a nothing boxer. So Lomachenko is really starting to get into trash talking Lopez. Lopez will obviously continue doing his part to promote the fight. So I want this fight to be as big as possible when it does happen because I believe personally that this is the easiest fight to make in the lightweight division as far as the options out there for Lomachenko. Because the only options right now for Lomachenko are four people as follows. Okay, you have Teofimo Lopez, you have Luke Campbell, you have Richard Comey, and you have Devin Haney. Okay, Devin Haney, Eddie Hearn has been talking about a lot recently about Devin Haney potentially fighting Luke Campbell for that vacant WBC title. So you be led to believe that if that goes according to plan, those guys will be tied up. You see what I'm saying? Richard Comey, Lomachenko, I'm not so sure Lomachenko will want to fight him straight away. Coming off of, because he did injure his hand. He injured his hand in his last fight with Crawler, so maybe he's not so quick to fight Richard Comey because of his hand injury. But then you have Lopez, who's signed in the same promotional outfit as him, who's calling for the fight. And I think when it comes to this fight, we need to have some perspective as boxing fans because, I've heard a lot of people criticize Gervonta Davis for being a guy who is a young champion, who is ducking people, who is a witness protection for boxing, and we get mad at him when he does that. But then when we get a guy who's the same age as him, pretty much, in Lopez, who has that ambition, who believes himself, who backs himself, we slag him off, and I don't quite understand that. Speaking as an American fight fan, it's very hard to get behind our American fighters sometimes because, they make it so damn hard. I mean, look how hard Deontay Wilder makes it to like him. With Lopez, it's like, man, this guy, okay, has he fought the creme de la creme? No. But if you look at the guys he's fighting at the stage of his career that he's at, he's fighting at a maturation level way beyond his years. He might only have 13 fights, but he's fighting like he's someone with 20 fights, 25 fights. And his skill level is way beyond his professional boxing experience. And he's fighting guys who are highly ranked. Last fight he fought Edis Tatley, 31-2. Now he's fighting an undefeated guy from Japan. So he's going through the proper channels to try to position himself for title shots. But honestly, like, when Lomachenko was Teofimo Lopez's age, he was in the amateurs and he was 4 years away from turning pro. He wasn't, like, Lomachenko wasn't knocking out guys on ESPN. Lomachenko wasn't one of the top prospects in boxing. Lomachenko wasn't, ranked top 5 in all sanctioning bodies when he was 21 years old. No, he was a random Eastern European amateur who was slowly but surely building his way up to carving one of the greatest amateur careers of all time. We give him that much, but perspective is very key when we look at Lopez and what he's doing, and it has to be applauded. He has that ambition. He wants to fight the best, and I'm behind him, man. Teofimo Lopez, man. I've been here. Listen, y'all don't understand. I'm from South Florida. And Teofimo Lopez trained here in South Florida. He trained right up the road from where I live at the Davy Powell. And when I was training as a boxer, a couple years ago, and I was in the gym, You know, I was hearing about this kid Teofimo Lopez years and years before he was even pro, and I heard great things about him back then, and I continue to hear great things about him now, and I back him all the way. I want him to get this fight. I want him to get this fight. I believe he deserves it, because honestly, like, it's the easiest fight to make. I see some of your guys' comments. Let's see what you guys are saying, because I'm gonna pick you guys apart limb by limb. Okay. Many don't want that fight. What are you talking about? Many or Manny? Like Manny Pacquiao? The PBC are the big problem with these privileged fighters. I don't see the same arrogance with top-ranked fighters. You got a point there. There isn't that same arrogance there with top-ranked fighters. They're you know, because, and a lot of it too is the reason you don't see that with top-ranked fighters is because top-ranked fighters don't get overpaid for mismatches, and generally speaking, Top Rank has some of the best matchmakers in the business. When we talk Top Rank, we're talking about, you know, Hall of Fame matchmakers, guys like Bruce Trampler, guys like Brad Goodman, some of the best in the business. So they have learned the art of matchmaking, which is the art of matchmaking in its purest form is matching your guy with somebody who is going to give him top level hard experience, but they'll still win. You know, they've done that better than anybody in boxing for decades upon decades now. And that's why you don't see that level of arrogance, because they've been in tough fights. They get put through the ringer as prospects. They get found out early. Look at a guy like last year. You had a guy like Alex Saucedo, you know, a guy that they had invested a lot of money into, a guy that they were building up there in Oklahoma City. And they overpaid Maurice Hooker to come to Oklahoma City and defend his title against Alex Saucedo because they believe Alex Saucedo could beat him, and he lost. But Top Rank does things like that for people they actually believe in. Yes, because he was killing it in the amateurs, not some random guy. He was winning gold medals. Okay, but he was still in the amateurs. He wasn't killing it in the professional. See, that's the difference. The age that Lomachenko was killing it in the amateurs, Teofimo is killing it in the professionals. We're talking about a guy who doesn't even have 15 fights yet, and he's going to be fighting for a world title probably around his 15th fight. Okay? And he didn't have a lifetime of amateur experience. And to me, that's more impressive. That's more impressive because at the age of 21, you're not as mature mentally, you're not as mature physically, and he's still fighting mentally and physically well beyond his years. You see, that's more impressive to me, and that gets overlooked because people just see the gold medals and the amateur record, and that's great. You know, fair play to Lomachenko, he's great, but everybody has their own roads. I don't want to slag off Lomachenko because he had, in my opinion, what was his amateur career is definitely top 5 of all time. You know, the only amateurs that come to mind that I can think that are better than Lomachenko are like some of those Cuban amateurs like Felix Savon, who won like two gold medals, or Teofimo Stevenson, another Cuban heavyweight that won 3 gold medals. I would like look. I know a lot of people say, well, BT, you hate Lomachenko. I love watching his fights. I'm just very frustrated because I feel like, okay, he's beaten some good opponents in his career. He's done a lot in his career in a short amount of time. But I want to see him in a fight where he gets tested. And, you know, to be fair, maybe he's just so good that there's nobody in the weight class that can test him. Maybe there is. Maybe there isn't. But I want to find out. And if there's a kid that's signed with the same promotional company out there and he's calling you out, that's what I want to see. So, it is, man. It is what it is. But he's called him out. He's warned him. He said that I'm going to beat the living dog shit out of you pretty much in so many words. And I'm going to hold you accountable once we fight. So, you know, it's good to see Lomachenko is talking. You know, I want this fight to be a big fight for boxing. Personally, like if I was Bob Arum, right, I would really look into putting this fight on regular ESPN. I know that the argument will be that this is a pay-per-view fight, but if you really want this fight to have just the biggest impact possible when it does happen, let's say 2020, they're talking Lomachenko-Lopez. If they want it to be as big as possible, put it on regular ESPN. I'm telling you, it makes so much sense. But Bob probably won't do that. I can't wait for the fight though too. You can't downplay Loma's amateur background because that's what Eastern Europeans do, and he won 2 gold medals. That's what he wanted to do, and fair play to him. He did that. But it's like people say, I don't know. It's weird to me because I look at the amateur ranks of boxing and the professional ranks of boxing as 2 completely different games. It's almost like, for those of you in the UK, it's almost like if I'm playing English football, right, and I'm playing let's say I'm playing in the championship, or if I'm playing for the under 23s. If I got an Everton kid right now. If I'm playing for the Everton under 23s, it's a different beast playing for the Everton under 23s than going to play for the Everton first team and playing in the Premier League. It's a whole different thing, and that's how I view Lomachenko's amateurs exploits and his professional exploits. And the reason I bring this up is because people will say that Lopez is too green to fight Lomachenko right now because he only has 13 professional boxing fights. But they never said that Lomachenko wasn't too green to fight Salido. And the reality was, when he fought Salido in the second fight, he was too green to fight Salido because there were some things in the professional ranks of boxing that he wasn't accustomed to. And he gets credit for things that no other fighter will get credit for. Okay, he fought for a world title in the second fight. Fair play to him. But he still lost because he was green. And Salido knew how to manipulate the rules enough to get away with it. And he got away with what was a disgusting performance, but he did what he had to do. And he won the fight. So, I don't know, man. But that fight's heating up. You know, still, there's still things that have to happen. Like Lomachenko. So many things have to happen for that fight to happen. Like, Lopez has to keep winning. He's got to win his eliminator fight on July the 19th against that Japanese guy whose name I can't remember right now. The 18-0 Japanese guy. He's got to fight on July the 19th. Then he's got to get a belt against Comey. So he's still got to win like 2 fights just to be, you know, in the running for Lomachenko fight. Then Lomachenko has to come back in September because that's when he's rumored to fight. He said he wants to fight in September. In that same interview, he wants to fight in September. He's got to win his fight, okay? And then we got to hope that if they both do what they're supposed to do up to that point, we got to hope that Lopez, because he's very big for the weight, we got to hope that Lopez can physically still make the weight, feel strong at it, and feel comfortable enough to make the weight and fight Lomachenko. So there's a lot of factors that go into this, and you know, it's one of those fights right now in boxing where I don't really have like a lot of faith that it'll happen because of all these factors. You know, I have more faith that it'll happen more so than Spence versus Crawford because I think that's never happening. That fight is never going to happen. Straight up, that fight is never happening. But this one I'm holding out to hope for. So hopefully it happens at some point. But let's get to some of your comments. I want to talk to you guys. Here's what Chuck Watson had to say. He said, sure, good point, but that was each of their choices. Yeah, and you know, everybody's path in boxing is different, but I'm just saying, man, like, you know, it just seems like, and I'm speaking from an American point of view, okay? It just seems like a lot of times the American fight fans, we see these Eastern Europeans, and they have impressive amateur careers. No problem. There's no problems with that. If you win 2 gold medals, if you go 396-1, you deserve to be praised. You deserve to be lauded. You deserve to be hyped up. No doubt about it. But then when we see a guy like Lopez, who maybe, yeah, Lopez had a good amateur career. Wasn't anything close to what Lomachenko did, but he had a good amateur career, and he's been fast-tracked as a pro. And it seems like when guys get fast-tracked and it's done properly, and guys are looking impressive, maybe that it doesn't get taken as seriously here in America. And I don't know, it's just my opinion, and it's something that I'm seeing. Good evening from the UK. Have I missed much? No, you haven't missed much, feminine, angry dwarf. We're just here talking boxing. I'm going to be here for roughly another hour and a half because, you know, I'm getting ready to watch the Everton game. You know, our last game at Goodison Park this year. We're playing Burnley at 3 o'clock American time, Eastern Standard Time here in America. So I figured I'd knock out a live before then and just talk to you guys and see what's going on. Lomachenko, 2 gold Olympics, 2 gold World Championships, and 1 gold European Championships. Yeah, no, we don't, listen, I can't say anything bad about Lomachenko's amateur exploits. He is a top 5 amateur. I want to make a video about that, the top 5 best amateurs in the history of boxing, because he's got to be in there. You know, you have guys like Felix Savon. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Felix Savon, a top-level Cuban heavyweight. He beat like Shannon Briggs and a bunch of other great heavyweights. Won 2 gold medals. Could have won a 3rd. They wanted him to turn pro and fight Mike Tyson in his professional debut. That's how good he was. And then the same thing kind of happened 30 years earlier when Teofimo Stevenson, another Cuban heavyweight, he won 3 gold medals, and they offered him like $4 million in the 70s to fight Muhammad Ali. I think Lomachenko was like in that class of amateurs. He's in that like elite class of amateurs. So I'm not slagging him off or anything like that. I'm not saying he's shit. He's a great fighter. It's just I'm just a bit frustrated with him, and I want to see him really show some more ambition in his career. Let's see. Feminine angry door. Get that top. What a nice old school top. That is very impressive. Absolutely. I got the Everton kit. You know, big supporter of the Toffees. Massive blue here in America. massive Evertonian. I've been a toffee Everton supporter for going on 3 years now. So love the club. Hopefully we finish very strong today and beat the living daylights out of Burnley. You know, pass them off the park. I actually just bought an Everton kit. You guys should be seeing it in the next week. I'll be wearing it in some videos. So yeah, big shouts out to the Toffees. Let's see. I wouldn't say it is more impressive. I would just say that they're impressive and they're different. Dude has 397 fights with 1 loss that he avenged. It's incredible. They're different but not more impressive. Okay, that's a fair assessment. So I can't argue with that. That's balanced. That's well thought out. So I'm not gonna get mad at that assessment. You know, it's different. You know, everybody has their own roads to boxing. You know, some guys like look at Tevin Farmer, for example. Tevin Farmer was a guy that lost. You know, I think he started his career like 4-4. You know, and then he's reeled off a big string of victories, and now he's become a world champion and one of the top guys in his weight class. So you got to put some respect on Tevin Farmer's name. It's different levels for everybody in boxing. Look at somebody who just lost recently, but is still a top pound for pound fighter in Rongvisai. Rongvisai got knocked out in his first 2 professional fights, and then he pretty much just built his way up, and then then he got the Quadras fight, lost on a technical decision, I believe it was, and then he got the Gonzalez fight. Was always a mainstay in the weight class. Eventually knocks out Chocolatito Gonzalez and solidifies himself as a pound for pound guy, the guy in the division, the lineal champion at super flyweight, and he parlayed one of the best and most Cinderella story title runs in boxing we've seen in quite some time. So everybody's different. I don't want to say that one is better than the other. I don't like hating on Lomachenko. I just the Pacquiao thing left a very sour taste in my mouth, and I just really I want to see him in some fights that are more marquee. So look, remove my feelings for a second. I'll just remove my feelings for a second. If Lomachenko comes out his next fight, and let's just say he fights Luke Campbell, is it the fight that I want to see? No, but it's definitely a fight that is worth seeing. Luke Campbell's a solid fighter, gold medalist, top guy in the division, so I wouldn't mind that fight. Chuck Watson says, I think Teofimo will test him, but Tank will be the harder fight, I think. I mean, stylistically speaking, and let's just get into the boxing for a second. I don't think that Tank is the harder fight for him, and I'm going to tell you why I don't think Tank Davis is the harder fight for him. The reason I don't think Tank Davis is a harder fight for Lomachenko than a guy like Teofimo Lopez is because Tank Davis, if you watch his fights, right, for a guy like him to be effective, he's kind of like, in some ways, he's kind of like Canelo. He's like a less matured version, a much less matured version of Canelo. Obviously, he doesn't have as much skills as Canelo, but he's like Canelo in the sense that in order for him to really be at his best against you, he needs to plant his feet. Like, I'll stand up for a second. Like, hold on. Nah, I won't stand up. But, like, in order for... Let me see. Maybe I can stand up. What's my battery like? I'm on 28%. In order for Tank Davis to be at his best, he needs to be able to plant his feet against you. And a guy like that is going to struggle with a guy who can land counter punches with anything on them. He'll struggle with a guy who can move and hit angles. And that's what Lomachenko does as great as anybody in boxing. So I would just see Lomachenko schooling or beating Davis very decisively. I don't think Davis has the maturity or the class or the right experience to deal with a guy like Lomachenko. Lopez, on the other hand, I think there's more dimension to his game. I think he has fight-changing power. He can actually punch on the move, punch while moving, fight going backwards, which are attributes that Tank Davis lacks. And those will be Tank Davis' ultimate undoing. The fact that Tank Davis can't really fight going backwards. He fights going forward, and he needs to be able to plant his feet to really be able to beat and be at his best. So, you're entitled to your own opinion, but those are just some of the... And those are reasons I'm giving you without even really getting into tape or anything like that. If I get into the tape, I'm sure I could find more reasons, but those are just reasons off rip why I think Lopez is a better fight against what's his name, Lomachenko. It doesn't feel like fight week. Canelo Jacobs needs to be pay-per-view for big numbers. The promotion was weak. Yeah, I mean, it's a landmark week for DAZN. DAZN is still trying to figure out a lot of things, particularly here in the American market. And this is probably the biggest fight they've ever had. You know, let's have it right. It's the biggest fight they've ever had on the platform. So, you know, they're figuring things out. I'm very interested. I'm very interested to see what the viewership numbers will be. I think they'll be solid. I'm not sure if they'll be like what we're accustomed to seeing for Canelo fights, but I'm hoping that they are. You know, I'm hoping that they are, because this is a big fight for boxing. And I guess we'll transition into Jacobs versus Canelo. I did put out my prediction video about that on my channel, so if you guys haven't seen that video on my channel, make sure you go watch that when you have some time. I gave my prediction on that fight. It's a great fight. It's a really good fight. You know, we'll start off with the Daniel Jacobs side of things. You know, he comes into this fight with Canelo Alvarez with a lot to fight for. You know, he's fighting for obviously that recognition to be recognized as the top middleweight in the world. He is fighting for that recognition to be, you know, one of the best American fighters out there. Because I think if Jacobs wins this fight, I think he's definitely going to have a legitimate claim to being recognized as the best American fighter out there. You know, because Crawford obviously is the most skilled. He's been undisputed, but you know, Canelo on your resume, you know, that's a big deal. So Jacobs can do a lot for himself in terms of where he stands in the landscape of American boxing if he wins, and boxing at large. He's the bigger guy coming into this fight. I know a lot was made in the last couple of days about the rehydration clause and the rehydration clause of the fight, and you know, because if you guys remember it properly, when he fought Triple G, when Jacobs, that is, fought Triple G, he came in overweight on purpose. He skipped the IBF weigh-in, like altogether. He just skipped the IBF weigh-in, and he came in heavier on purpose. And this was so that when Golovkin hit him, he would have more weight on his chin and throughout his body to absorb the shots. And to his credit, you know, it worked, because he only got knocked down once, and it really wasn't like a hard thudding shot. So, you know, Eddie Hearn made a joke saying he might pay the IBF penalty if he comes in overweight, and he might allow Jacobs to come in overweight on purpose. And some of you may be asking, why would Eddie Hearn do that? Why would Eddie Hearn do that? Because if Jacobs beats Canelo, he won't even get the IBF belt. But the thing is, if he beats Canelo, they can do a rematch, and then Jacobs Jacobs will be the A side, and then Jacobs can get money in the rematch. So it winds up becoming a very calculated risk that will only work if Jacobs wins the fight. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, it is what it is. But he has a lot to fight for. Obviously, he's coming back from cancer. You know, if he wins this fight, they should make a movie about Daniel Jacobs. You know, the guy is just absolutely fantastic as a person. His story, and I'm behind him. I don't think he's gonna win, but I'm firmly behind him. From the Canelo side of things, you know, he enters this fight as one of boxing's pound for pound stars, one of the best fighters in boxing. I think he's really coming to himself. I think this is gonna be one of the fights where we really see Canelo Alvarez at the peak of his powers against a very formidable challenger in Jacobs. I want to commend Canelo, because I know I criticized him a lot, and I have criticized him a lot in the past for, you know, basically Canelo getting the benefit of the doubt in all the big fights, you know, having the judges in his pocket. But aside from that, if we can separate that from that, because just Canelo the fighter, Canelo did not have to take this fight. He could have fought someone who was lesser. He could have taken on a lesser challenge, but he took, and he's fighting Daniel Jacobs. And I mean, we look at his last 4 fights. You know, he's fought Triple G twice. You know, then he had a sob touch of Rocky Fielding for his first fight at MSG, and now he's fighting Daniel Jacobs. So Canelo Alvarez is fighting the biggest and best out there, and we got to give him credit, man. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a massive fan of him, although people have told me before in the boxing gym that I fight a lot like Canelo, even though I try not to, but I do. Canelo Alvarez, he's going out there and taking on the biggest and best challenge. So it's a great fight. My prediction for the fight, if you go watch my video, I gave my points as to why I think, what I think each fighter should do to win the fight. And I'll continue to do that in my video. But I got Canelo breaking down Jacobs and stopping him in the 10th round. I just think Daniel Jacobs he's too... It's not that he doesn't have enough heart, because he has plenty of heart. It's more about the fact that he doesn't have the durability, I believe. Once Canelo starts digging into that body, and he starts hitting him with these crazy body punches, I just don't think Daniel Jacobs will have the durability to be able to stay there with him, particularly going into the championship round. So I got him breaking him down as if I was at home, guys. But yeah, should be a good fight. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see. Let me get to some of your comments. My man Al Mora, he says, shout out from Weston, Florida. Hey, big shout out to Weston, Florida, y'all. That's the Weston, Florida, man. That's one of the nicest places to visit in South Florida. You know, way too much money for me out there. But one day, maybe I'll live in Weston one day. Who knows, man? It's very nice houses, very nice land out there in Weston. I remember back when I was a kid, I used to play baseball out in Weston. We used to go, because I used to play baseball in Pembroke Pines. And we used to go, my travel team used to go there, and we used to go to Weston. All play baseball. We used to go over there and kick their ass. I was playing second base, hitting doubles and triples, stealing bases. I was that guy. But yeah, big shouts out to Al over there in Weston. Let's see. My girl from Mexico, we had barbecues for both GGG and the Cotto fights. They have no idea Canelo is fighting DAZN. I'm gonna have to pay a little money to these cable and Dish Networks for promotions. Yeah. What's funny is, I think over the last, because I don't know if you guys understand, I'm on YouTube like all the time. Like I'm always on YouTube. So a lot of times I'll click on videos and I'll see the ads, and usually when there's big fights on television or whatever, on Showtime, they'll be advertising it on YouTube. So before you click a video, you know, the ad will run. Like for example, when Christina Hammer fought Clarissa Shields, literally for 2-3 weeks in a row, any video I clicked on, I was seeing ads for Clarissa Shields, Christina Hammer, Clarissa Shields, Christina Hammer. And it's only been the last few days that I've seen Jacobs and Canelo adverts on YouTube. So maybe that's just me, but I don't know. You guys can tell me. Have you guys only started seeing these adverts recently? Because for me, that's how it's been. When is the weigh-in for Canelo Jacobs? I'm assuming it should be sometime today, but I honestly don't even know. I haven't even like kept track of that, honestly. But I'm gonna. It'll be interesting to see like when if Jacobs actually comes in overweight and Eddie Hearn pays the $300,000 penalty. How would you gauge the numbers for DAZN as far as the Canelo Jacobs event goes compared to pay-per-view format where it's straightforward? Well, to answer your question, what I'll say is this. So I have a friend, a good friend of mine, who is very, he's a very good source in the boxing world as far as pay-per-view numbers, and if I want to get information on things like that, I can usually get them from him, and they're generally pretty accurate, you know. And my friend, he was telling me the other day when I was talking to him on the phone, he told me what the exact subscriber number for DAZN was. And DAZN right now, as far as their actual subscriber base here in America, it's not good right now. They are really struggling to take off here in America. I was told by a reliable source that the DAZN subscriber number at the present moment is around 83,000. Okay, it was around 83,000. It's around 83,000. As of March 1st, it was around 80,000, I believe it was. So like, it's only in a matter of months, it's only gone up about 3,000 subscribers, and you know they're putting on great products, but the reality is that DAZN doesn't have the they don't have that brand recognition here in America. Like I want you guys to look at it like this, okay? It doesn't have the brand recognition here in America because Bob Arum, okay, maybe ESPN Plus isn't doing a great thing. Isn't doing a great job with boxing, but ESPN Plus has millions of subscribers, so they could get ratings for boxing events and boxing matches on accident. Really, they have so many subscribers, they can get good ratings for a boxing event on accident. Because I was told that the ESPN Plus subscribers count right now is somewhere around the 2.5 million range, and 2.5 million. 83,000, you know, it's a big difference. But DAZN, like I always, you know, it's a very big project. DAZN, you know, DAZN roughly now we're in May now, so I believe the first DAZN call was in September. So what we're talking about October, November, December, January, May, no, January, February, March, April, May. We're in the 8th month of the DAZN's existence, and they're only at 83,000. And in its 8th month, I would venture to say that this is their first big fight. So, you know, I would say we can't make any judgments on the DAZN, but they have a lot of work to do because the brand recognition is just not there here in the States as of yet. They're trying to become the Netflix of sports. They've acquired the rights to like the MLB's network show Change Up, which is basically a show for baseball here in America where they show you live look-ins and highlights of the games as they're happening. So they got the rights to that show. They're trying to acquire the rights to NFL Sunday Ticket, which is, if you guys don't know what that is in the UK, NFL Sunday Ticket is like the it's like a package where you can watch all the out-of-market NFL football games, and it's a big thing here in America. So if they can acquire the rights to that, that'll definitely get some more eyeballs on what's going on in the DAZN as far as boxing. But then the problem is going to be when the NFL playoffs start, then, you know, people might hit unsubscribe, or they might not be tuning into the DAZN, and you're not going to have that. So the DAZN has their work cut out for them. I'm not going to lie to you. So it is what it is, man. I'm rooting for the DAZN. I'm going to enjoy it, hopefully, for as long as it lasts. Hopefully it continues to last. I'll continue paying my $10 a month. For me, it's $10. I know for others it's $19.99, but I'll continue paying my whatever I need to pay. I'll pay it because I like what they're doing. They're giving me value for money. They're giving me great cards. They're giving me fun boxing, and yeah. So that's just what it is. Let's see. Will the Loma versus Lopez fight happen, and who am I taking? Well, I'm going Lopez, man. I think you know, right now I'll be objective here for a second because I know I made a lot of videos going just ape shit and shitting on Lomachenko over the last couple months. What I'll say is this, man. I think the longer Lomachenko allows this to go on, the worse it'll get for him, because Lomachenko just suffered another hand injury. Lomachenko is getting older. Lomachenko, you know, or Lopez, I should say, Teofimo Lopez, he is getting better at every fight. And right now, as it stands, he's still an untested, highly touted prospect. That's what he is right now. A untested, highly touted prospect who's just now making that transition into contender. And, you know, he's going to fight a guy who's highly ranked in the IBF, and then after that, he probably gets to fight with Comey. So if he comes to those two fights and he looks good and he wins, you know, he's going to get a lot of good experience. And by the time he gets to Lomachenko, he should be a completely different fighter in terms of up here, in terms of confidence. And I've been saying for a while now, I think if there is a guy at 135 to beat Lomachenko, that it's Teofimo Lopez. I think that he is, I'm not saying he's as good or anything like that, but in many ways, in many respects, he reminds me of a young Floyd Mayweather in terms of his ambition, in terms of things like that, even his style. I did a video about it a couple months ago, and I explained it there. So you go check that out if you haven't already. But I want to, you know, I'm sticking to my pick. I think Canelo by KO. I actually think Jacobs will be a victim of his own success tomorrow. I think he'll have a good bit of success, and he'll get careless and walk into something real meaty. That's very possible. You know, Jacobs, I watched a bit of the Golovkin fight, a couple rounds of it the other day, and, you know, he's not afraid to get in there and exchange. And you know, against Canelo, it's a bit of a catch-22 because he needs to exchange, because I think he needs to knock out the win, but then you're still playing into his hands if you do that. So, you know, one of the most interesting storylines going into this fight is tactically, how does Daniel Jacobs approach a Canelo fight? Because he's got to know that all the odds are stacked against him, that he's against all odds when he fights Canelo, that he knows that the judges, Vegas, you know, DAZN, all powers that be, they want him to lose this fight because they need the Canelo gravy train to keep rolling on and keep doing its thing. So, that's just what it is, man. And that's the way the cookie crumbles, as Bruce Almighty once said. NY Rob, what's up, champ? Good to have you on. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate all the kind words, and you support me on these lives, man. Always a pleasure to have you on. Casual sports fans have no idea that this fight is taking place. Absolutely not. They really don't. Which is sad because when Canelo fought Khan, people knew that fight was gonna happen, because I remember when I went to go watch Canelo versus Khan, I didn't watch Canelo versus Khan at my house. I actually went to a local movie theater and I watched it on the big screen in the movie theater. And people knew. I mean, the movie theater was really packed. It was packed to the brim, full of Mexicans. couple British people were there, and it was a good experience, and I wish DAZN was doing that. He's fighting on July 19th, and Haney for the World Championship on July 27th. Yeah, I saw that. Devin Haney's going to get a world title shot supposedly against Luke Campbell, and it's a big step up for Devin Haney. A lot of people are betting on him to be something in boxing. Some people even say that I'm wasting my time talking about Teofimo because Devin Haney's that guy. And we'll see, man. We'll see. You know what? Let's talk about Devin Haney for a second, because with Devin Haney, Devin just signed to DAZN, and honestly, I think the Devin Haney signing for DAZN, it's a landmark signing for the platform for Eddie Hearn in America. And I'm gonna just give you guys my perspective on as to why I'm saying that. Devin is highly rated amateurs and prospects here in America for boxing, and you know the problem Eddie Hearn has had out here in America for boxing is that a lot of the marquee names are Al-Haymon fighters. You see, but Eddie's smart, man, because Eddie said, okay, maybe I can't get the guys who are hot right now in America, who are Al-Haymon fighters, but you know what? I'm gonna swipe up all the top amateur talent in America and the top prospects in America. So what has Eddie Hearn done since he's been here in America? He has really invested into top American talent. You've seen him sign National Golden Gloves winner Raymond Ford, who I think is going to be a world champion in multiple weight classes in boxing. Absolutely outstanding talent coming from the New Jersey area. He just made his pro debut recently. He signed Arthur Jones III from Ohio, another National Golden Gloves champion who just turned pro. He'll be a problem in the future. But then more importantly, he has signed someone in Devin Haney who has built himself up, who's already a built prospect in America. And what this does now, because Devin Haney, his name in boxing circles in America, it holds a lot of weight. It holds a lot of weight. And Devin Haney has stated in an interview with IFL TV that a lot of top other of his friends who are American fighters have been telling Devin, hey, Devin, put me on. I want to sign with Eddie. And now that Devin has done this, you know, a lot of American fighters, I believe, will begin to follow suit. So, yeah, Eddie Hearn may have failed in America as far as getting the guys who are currently hot, you know, the guys like Wild, the guys like Charlos when he was undefeated, you know, maybe some of the guys on PBC, maybe he didn't get those guys, but he has really done a great job as far as investing into the young, top-level American fighters from the amateurs who are now pros, like Arthur Jones III, Raymond Ford, and now Devin Haney. And it's a landmark signing because it'll attract other top American talent. And now he has a guy from America, because that's what I think anything was lacking. An American fighter that he could build the platform around from a young age. You see what I'm saying? Of course he had a guy established like Daniel Jacobs, but he's coming towards the end of his career. You have guys like Jesse Vargas, who's not really a superstar, but now you have a guy who has extreme potential to be great. You have a guy, Devin Haney, who people are banking on to become, you know, just that guy in boxing. And now he can build around this guy. You know, it's almost the equivalent to like if you're a team, like for my UK people, I'll give you guys an analogy. If you're in the Premier League, right? You know, your team is really good. You have all the ingredients to go to the Champions League, but you don't have that top quality striker. And then all of a sudden you have that top quality striker. Now you have that top quality striker. And they've done that, so, you know, big shout out to them. Big shout out to DAZN, Eddie Hearn. You know, I don't know what it is, man. I'm here live on YouTube, and every time I'm live here on YouTube, like, people start calling my phone. I gotta start putting my phone on airplane mode when I go on live on YouTube, but then I can't go live on YouTube because then I'd be on airplane mode. But yeah, I think DAZN is the future. I think Devin Haney is taking hold on. Never mind. I'll respond to that text message later. I'm getting text messages left and right, but basically, Devin Haney's taking a bet because, you know, he could have went to the more established platform on Top Rank. Like, I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and he gave me a good perspective. He said, BT, you know, Devin Haney is a great fighter. He's a great talent, but he's taking a big gamble because DAZN only has, right now at this moment as it stands, according to this person, DAZN only has 83,000 subscribers on the platform here in America. So it's definitely a big bet he's taking. But he could have went to Bob Arum, and he could have said, to Bob, hey Bob, I'll only sign with you. I will only sign with you if you put all my fights on regular ESPN. And Bob probably would have did it. And I never heard anybody say that, but I think I honestly I think Devin made the right move for him. I think he made the right move for him. I think for a lot of fighters this wouldn't have been the right move, but I think considering his unique circumstances, because he turned pro at 17, he had 20 professional fights, he's built himself up into contender status. He knows about promoting. He's one of the fighters that knows about promoting yourself. He knows the value in it. He sees the value in it, and he's aligned himself with a promoter in Eddie Hearn who knows those values, understands about those values, and is modernizing boxing. And is it going to be a bit of a steep curve? Is it going to be a bit harder building yourself on the zone than it would on a platform like ESPN and Top Rank? Absolutely. But and that has to be commended. That has to be applauded. And we applaud him here in True School Sports. My man YC Rahman says, I see DAZN is building up the Haney versus Ryan Garcia fight. Yeah, I mean, that's a fight that's going to be big down the line because, you know, Golden Boy is aligned with DAZN, Matchroom is aligned with DAZN. Both fighters are fighting on DAZN. Those are two of the top amateur talents from their class in American boxing. They're both building towards being two of the top talents in the lightweight division. So who's to say in 2 years that's not a super fight? Who's to say that DAZN doesn't win out? Because as it stands right now, hold on guys. Hold on. As it stands right now, like, with DAZN, okay, sure, right now, DAZN, outside of Canelo and Joshua, once we get past those two guys, you know, DAZN doesn't have a lot of top tier talent, particularly in America. But in terms of the young American fighter, and I really want to stress this to you guys, in terms of the young American fighter, there is no other platform right now, other than maybe Top Rank, that is doing a better job of investing into young American fighters other than DAZN. You know, right now Top Rank has two of the best American prospects in boxing, which are Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez. But when we talk about, you know, guys who are even younger than those guys, like the next generation behind Lopez and Stevenson, you know, DAZN has those guys. DAZN has them all. They have Devin Haney. They have freaking Otha Jones III. They have Raymond Ford. They have Ryan Garcia. How are these young guns doing that Hearn snapped up for DAZN? As soon as they turn pro, I don't hear much about them over in the UK. Well, I'll give you an update on all of them, okay? Otha, I don't know if you're familiar with Otha Jones III. He was like the top, one of the best amateurs in America. Like, he won national Golden Gloves in his weight class. You know, arguably the best amateur out there. He's 1-0. He just turned pro. Raymond Ford won the 118-pound national Golden Gloves in 2018. He just turned pro. He's 1-0. In fact, Raymond Ford were actually fighting in the UK on the... Which card is it? I forgot what card it was, but Eddie Hearn's planning on taking Raymond Ford over there to fight in the UK. So yeah, that'll be good for him over there in the UK. And then now he signed Devin Haney, who I know he's going to be having boxed over there in the UK a lot. So you know, it's early days right now. It's early stages for a lot of these young American DAZN fighters, but the future, as far as I can tell, it looks bright. It looks bright. I mean, I want Lomachenko to keep that same energy when it comes time to actually sign a contract. Okay, he's saying all these things, but sign a damn contract. Teofimo wants to fight him now. You know, it's good to say all these things now, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see. I honestly think he should fight him right now. If he wants to win that fight, he needs to fight him now. Because if you wait for him to go fight this guy for the Eliminator and then actually get a quality fighter with like a guy like Comey, had that experience and the confidence of being a world champion, you know, it's gonna be bad for him. I'm telling you. Lopez is good enough to beat Lomachenko, and I know I sound crazy saying this, but he's good enough to beat him. He's a special fighter, special talent. Are they both top rank? Teofimo Lopez is definitely, yeah, he's top. They are both top rank. They're both aligned at top rank. It's the easiest fight of the big fights at 135. It's the easiest fights to make in the division. Yeah, I think ideally it should happen in September, but Lomachenko injured his hand in the last Anthony Crawler fight, and you know, he injured himself in the last Anthony Crawler fight, and he might get a soft touch. He might try to unify Commey. We don't know, but I don't think it's Lopez next. I think Bob Arum will do what he's been saying he's gonna do, which is try to make that fight on Super Bowl weekend, which is February, around that time next year. So that's what it is. Francis Brenner, Q&A, bro. Yeah, Q&A. Listen, there's 11 of you here. There's 11 of you guys here right now on my live. Any questions you want about boxing, you drop them shits down below in the comments, and I will answer them to the best of my abilities. And I'll try to get to every comment and give it its proper time and value. So yeah, Francis Bremer, you give me your comment down below. And if you're here right now, and if you haven't hit that like button, make sure you smash that like button so we can get more people in here, get more questions. National Memorial Gardens, he said, hi my friend, love watching you and your dad, respect from the UK, Nathan. Hey, big shout out to you, Nathan, big supporter of the channel. I really appreciate you supporting, man. We're gonna keep going here on True School Sports. We're gonna keep going, keep delivering you guys that top level boxing content. So yeah, man, I'm really excited about that. Maybe Commey versus Lopez in September, while Loma versus Contender. I wouldn't be mad at that. I'd be okay if that was the scenario that played out. That's an ideal scenario for Top Rank, because they don't want Loma to be in there with someone as dangerous as Lopez coming off a hand injury, and they don't want Lopez in there without having more experience for a Commey fight. So yeah, that'd probably be the best scenario for Top Rank. Will DAZN demand a GGG Canelo trilogy fight? Golden Boy said they won't entertain a fight unless Golovkin has a title. I think ever since GGG signed with DAZN, that's been the intent, to have a third Canelo fight. Personally, I'm just so over Canelo versus Triple G that I can't really be bothered about it. It's a fight that I was disgusted with both decisions. I was disgusted with how Canelo got away with clenbuterol and taking that, and he got a slap on the wrist and got babied by the WBC and all the sanctioning bodies and the commissions, and just I'm not bothered by it. I really don't want to see it again. And I think if they do fight a third time, Golovkin's getting stopped. Francis Brunner says, question, how can we get BT to the next level? The UK loves you. Well, I love the UK. That's a great question, man. I've been asking myself that question for quite some time. And really what it comes down to is this, my friend, okay? What my channel needs at this point is I need investment. I need, to be able to get around the country and the world to these fights, to these gyms. And right now, I'm not at a stage where I can do that. So all I can do is just around my local area, go to the boxing gyms, and just continue building my channel until I get to that point. And with your guys' support, as long as my channel continues to grow, eventually I'll start going to fights and I'll start building myself up. I'll let you guys in on a little on something I found out recently. I found out today that Anthony Joshua is doing his training camp for the Andy Ruiz fight in Miami. And I'm not directly in Miami, but I'm not that far from Miami. So who knows? Maybe I'll try to land the Anthony Joshua interview and my life will change, and I'll be like Umar IFL Umar. But man, I've been asking myself, what do you mean by that, KNM? What do you mean by that? If I won't have to pay for accommodation if I come to the UK? What are you insinuating? Are you guys in the UK insinuating that I can stay at your place if I go to the UK? Like, is that what you guys are insinuating? Because look, I have my passport. Like, I got my passport last year. I've been dying to use it. I just don't have the money to do it. It is literally my dream to spend 60 to 90 days in the UK. I want to spend 60 to 90 days in the UK. I want to immerse myself. I want to immerse myself in the UK boxing culture. And yeah, I mean, I'll say this. Any of you from the UK who are out there, if any of you let me crash at your place for however long you want to have me, I will gladly come to the UK. I'll just buy my plane ticket and I'll have some money to burn. Yeah, so you guys can do that. Oh man, you know what? let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, so I'm talking to you guys. Let's brainstorm here. So I want to go to the UK. You guys in the UK clearly want me to come to the UK. You know what's funny? And I know a lot of fighters feel this way too. But even as a boxing YouTuber, okay, someone who has a I don't want to say I have a massive channel because I know I'm not like as big as Radio Raheem or none of them guys. You know, them guys are like another level. But I got a decent sized channel. What I'll say is this: maybe I'll start a project like get BT to the UK. Like maybe we can start GoFundMe or something. And if y'all really want me over there, maybe if y'all have any of you who want to have me over, if y'all have an extra room or apartment, or I think in the UK they call them flats. If you guys have a flat, maybe I'll come over there, and I can immerse myself. I'll do a documentary. I'll go to all the gyms there. Do you like fry-ups? I don't even know. I don't even know what the hell fry-ups are. You know, I'm not. What's a fry-up? Yeah, the only thing is like I live close to Fort Lauderdale. I live in Dania, and that's like close. So the closest airport to me is the Fort Lauderdale airport, and a flight from the Fort Lauderdale airport to the London airport. It's going for like a couple thousand. I don't got a couple thousand to burn right now. I mean, I'd love to check them out. I want to go to the UK. Yeah, let's do that. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start like I'll make a post. I don't know if you guys ever see like my post that I make on YouTube, because YouTube has this thing now where you can make actual posts. I'll make a post, and any of you guys in the UK that want to help me in any sort of way, I'll just make a post, and you guys we can brainstorm how we can do that, because I want to go to the UK. I want to go to Liverpool. I want to go to London. I want to go to Manchester. I want to go to all the cities, everywhere. Nottingham. Fuck it, we'll go everywhere in the UK. A full English breakfast. I can't tell you if I like it. I can't tell you if I like fry-ups. I never had a fry-up. You know, we don't really have a lot of British things here in South Florida. I remember in Dania, there was this British bar on Dania Beach Boulevard where I lived. It doesn't exist no more, right? But I used to go there. It was a British pub. It was called Bad Boys of England. It was this British pub, and they used to have like pie and mash and shit like that. And I used to go in there every now and then. I went there a couple times. It's closed down now, but that was like the only British thing we had here in South Florida. Because not a lot of the only Brits that come to South Florida, they usually go to Miami when they come on holiday and they want to go on vacation. They go to Miami. I mean, look at Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua's doing his whole training camp in Miami before he goes to New York. So. Yeah, so what I'll do is this, man. What I'll do is this, yo, for y'all in the UK, hold on, I'm gonna post a comment. For any of you in the UK that are watching this, okay, and I know we're getting a bit off topic here. We're getting a bit off topic here, but look, if any of you from the UK, hold on. Hold on. I'm trying to see. If any of you from the UK have any ideas of how we can brainstorm to help BT get over to the UK, you guys can email me. Email me. Say my email. Look, I'm dropping it in the comments right now. Email me at nelsontaylor978@gmail.com. That's my email. You email me there. You tell me, BT, we can get you a flat, or I got an extra room, or you can PayPal me or super chat me right now, and I'll go to the UK this year. I really want to go. I want to go to the UK at bare minimum within the next couple of years before Everton leave Goodison Park, because I need to go. I need to see Goodison Park before I leave. I need to kiss the big green pitch before it's not there no more, and I won't be able to live myself if I don't make that happen. Why hasn't Regis Prograis been elevated to top 10 yet? Because Regis Prograis hasn't beaten anybody yet to be worthy of being in the top 10. He's shown great skills, but he has to do more. I like Prograis, but I'm saying now if he beats Josh Taylor, then we might have then he might have a case. But until then, he's got to do more. But yeah, I mean, I've been trying to figure out how I can make my channel bigger, and the key for me is just to keep going and keep plugging away, and we'll get there eventually. We'll get there eventually, and then when I get to like a certain amount of subscribers, y'all was saying, "Damn, I remember when BT used to get 12 people on his live, and I would just talk to him." Now, now it's like this. But I'm trying to remain the same. Like I'm trying to continue to respond to my comments and interact with you guys because I really do enjoy it. And you know, my biggest goal this month, I was just saying earlier, Anthony Joshua revealed that he's doing this training camp here in Miami. For the Andy Ruiz fight before he heads up to New York. So I'm like 90% sure I know what Jimmy's gonna be at, and I'm gonna try to show up there and get some intel and see if I can get that Anthony Joshua interview, because it'd be massive for my channel. I need it. Do you think Froch and Grove should fight? Have you seen the first two? Yeah, I watched both fights. I watched the second one multiple times. I thought honestly that those two fights bothered me because I really feel like Grove should have never lost to Froch. I really felt like he was a better fighter, and it's really unfortunate that he didn't beat him either time. You know, because the first stoppage was a bit questionable, or as you guys in the UK say, the first stoppage was a bit dodgy. It was a bit dodgy, and the second fight, I thought he was boxing well, but he got caught with a good shot, and he got knocked out in front of 8,000 people at Wembley Stadium. So that's what it was, man. My man Francis Bember says Joshua will give you the time if you make yourself aware. He will talk and give you the time. Yeah, well, I sent Eddie Hearn a direct message today on Instagram because he follows me and he sees my messages, and I asked Eddie if he knows what gym he'll be at. Now, I have a hunch. I have a big hunch as to what gym he'll be at. I'm like 90% sure Anthony Joshua will be training at the 5th Street Gym in South Beach, which is like 40 minutes from where I live by car. I haven't gone to the 5th Street Gym since January, but I know the trainers there. I know a guy named Dino who works there. I've been going to 5th Street Gym to do interviews for years now. I just saw them recently a couple weeks ago when I was at Stacey McKinley's gym to watch some sparring, and I saw them. So I'm very familiar with the guys in that gym. I know Lawrence Okoli came to the 5th Street Gym to do some training when he was here. So my thoughts lead me to believe that he will be here at 5th Street Gym. And if not 5th Street Gym, he might even be even closer than that. He might be at the Heavyweight Factory, because I know that Bad News Gregory Corbin was his sparring partner, and Gregory Corbin was training at the Heavyweight Factory. So maybe he's not even in Miami. Maybe he's in Hollywood, which is close to Dania. Maybe Anthony Joshua will be in Dania. Maybe Anthony Joshua. Maybe I have to give Anthony Joshua a tour of the streets of Dania Beach. Greatest city in the world. Get him familiar. But anyway, Count Drago says, does Andy Ruiz have a shot against Anthony Joshua? Very little. I think his best bet in that fight is he's got to keep that fight at mid-range, because he's got fast hands. He is an underrated counter puncher. I think he's gonna give him a good fight, but I give him like a 20% chance of winning. I just don't see a scenario where he's gonna outbox Anthony Joshua. His best bet is to wear down and break down Anthony Joshua and stop him in the maybe middle rounds, latter rounds, because Anthony Joshua does fatigue sometimes. So I'll say 15, 16, or like 7th round, 8th round. I give him a 25% chance of winning. Why do Brits think Froch beat Calzaghe? Calzaghe's underrated. He didn't duck Froch. Froch was just making his name, and Calzaghe was coming off of 2 pay-per-view fights. I think a lot of the Brits can identify with Carl Froch, because Carl Froch is he's not the most skilled guy in the world. He's the working class man from Nottingham. He represents the working class man from Nottingham. And Calzaghe was quite the opposite. With the way he boxes, he's kind of like a very flashy and flamboyant figure. And people wanted Froch to beat Calzaghe. So I guess when they say he ducked Froch, I don't know. I'm not from the UK, so I don't know. I'm just giving my 2 cents. What's funny though is I remember in January, the last time I went to the 5th Street Gym in Miami, I actually interviewed Glenn Johnson. And Glenn Johnson, I did a whole interview with Glenn Johnson, and Glenn Johnson was talking about how Calzaghe ducked him. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I remember Glenn Johnson said that Calzaghe was ducking the hell out of him. I think Calzaghe would have made Froch look silly. I think so too. I think Calzaghe would outclass Froch. he would have gave Froch a boxing lesson, straight up and down, no special effects. Joe Calzaghe was that guy. You know what's funny? If you talk to a lot of American boxing fans, a lot of American boxing fans don't like Joe Calzaghe because he was cocky, and he beat up Roy Jones and he beat up Bernard Hopkins. I love Joe Calzaghe. That's that guy. I love Joe Calzaghe because he's a southpaw. He's slick. You know, when I was in the boxing gym, training regularly, that was a guy that I kind of like. In some ways, I wanted to emulate his slickness in some ways. And fight night, I was killing him with Joe Calzaghe. Can't nobody beat me on fight night when I'm Joe Calzaghe. I was making everybody miss, making everybody pay. They didn't want no smoke when I was Joe Calzaghe. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it was. He was kind of a bit difficult to deal with, you know? Very difficult to deal with in negotiations. Joe Calzaghe was called the slapper, who was the hardest slapper, that's for sure. I mean, bro, if Joe Calzaghe, if they had a slap boxing world championships, ain't nobody messing with Joe Calzaghe. He'll slap the black off of you. I remember when Kell Brook was fighting Earl Spence, and the whole fight week he kept talking about how he kept going on and on about how Jeff Lacey was hyped up and Joe Calzaghe was schooled him. He's like, yeah, all the Americans, all the Yanks hyping up Jeff Lacey. Every time I just hear Jeff Lacey's name, I hear Kell Brook talking about how Joe Calzaghe schooled Jeff Lacey. Yeah, right now I would have Anthony Joshua on my lower parts of my pound for pound list. I'm actually gonna release my pound for pound list next week. After Canelo's fight, depending on what happens to Canelo and Jacobs, I'll be releasing my official pound for pound list next week. So you guys stay tuned for that. Oh, I wanted to let y'all know, for the Brits that are here. I actually messaged Tyan Booth my video that I did on him on Facebook, and he saw it, and I mean, he seemed like he liked it. He asked, he said, "LOL, who made that?" I said, "I made it," and then he didn't respond, but he saw the video, so you know, big shout out to Tyan Booth. Hey TSS, you watching MTK Global with IFLT presents Fight Nights Newscastles? Are you asking me a question? I'm not watching. I'm not watching that. I'm not watching IFL TV. I'm watching myself. Right now, I'm really sitting here in my silent studio apartment, and I'm watching myself talk on a screen. I mean, look, how Echo Falls, man. Big shout out to Echo Falls, man. I'm drinking some Echo Falls, and it's quite nice, you know. Thanks for that. Yeah, I like that. Thanks for that. Anyway, yeah, nah, he saw my video, so big shout out to Tyan Booth. I'm looking forward to his next video whenever it drops. And yeah, man, really, I'll be honest with you guys. I really want to go to the UK sometime within this year, if I can. Endgame was good, but I liked Infinity War better. You know what's funny? I'm not a big movie guy. I haven't seen any of them. I haven't seen Endgame. I haven't seen Infinity War. I haven't seen Black Panther, and I haven't watched I have not watched one episode of Game of Thrones. I'm like the most, like, I don't watch like movies like that. Like, I think the last movie that I saw in theaters was Creed 2. The last movie I saw in theaters was Creed 2, and that was on Thanksgiving. And I lost my wallet that day too. That was pretty funny. That was a pretty entertaining day. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely try to get that Joshua interview. That's like my goal for the month, is to try to get the Anthony Joshua interview. Yo, I just had an epiphany. I think I just figured out how I'm gonna get that interview. I just figured it out. Andy has a puncher's chance. He has great hand speed. He's a fighting spots. Calzaghe was a great speed, great power. He's school Lacey, Kessler, Bika. He has wins versus Roy Jones Jr. and B-Hop. Absolutely. Joe Calzaghe, big shout out to him. An absolutely fantastic fighter. Are you gonna pretend to get hit by his car? Whose car? Anthony Joshua? Who are you talking about? Hell no. I'm just gonna get my. No. There's someone. There's a couple people. There's a couple of people I know that I could contact to set that up. It just came to my mind just now. So I'm not gonna make any promises, no guarantees, but I'm gonna do my absolute best to nail that interview down with Anthony Joshua. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Speak it into existence. What does Tunde Ajayi say? All right. Speak it, believe it, become it, or something like that. Believe it, become it, whatever he says. Tunde Ajayi, what a clown. But I like him though. He's a great clown. I like Tunde Ajayi. Lions in the camp. Lions in the camp. Yeah, so right now it's 2:34 here in America. I got roughly I got roughly 26 minutes left until this Everton game starts, and then I'm gonna get off. Oh, what's up, Otis? Yeah, Andy Ruiz is deceptively quick. Deceptively quick. I think Evander Holyfield told me one time he sparred with him years and years ago, and he told me the same thing. Why Everton? That's my club. That's my favorite club. Why not? Yeah, if there's open training sessions, I'm gonna literally, like, you guys don't understand, when I get off this live, I'm going to hit up everybody in the South Florida boxing community that I know that's connected to all the gyms and figure out where the fuck he's gonna be, and I'm gonna get that interview. Triple JJJ, what's up, champ? Thank you. Appreciate it, champ. Yes. Shout out to my main man, Wayne Rooney. No, I've told the story a couple of times in my life, but I guess I'll tell it again as to why I support Everton Football Club. So, 3 years ago, in late, well, not quite, 2 years and some change ago, it'll be 3 years in December. I had a Nigerian roommate. Who was staying with me. He stayed with me for about a year, and he was a massive fan of Arsenal. Big fan of Arsenal. Loved Arsenal. Would plop his ass on the other side of my apartment and watch Arsenal. So I used to watch Arsenal games with him. I watched a couple Arsenal games with him. And the funny thing is, like, growing up, I played footy, as you guys call it, over there in the UK. And I always had a love for the game. I used to play every Friday afternoon when I was in high school. There was a local football field where we used to go play, me and my friends. And I played every Friday. Every Friday, I would go and I would play. So I always loved the game, but I never really had a team, to support. I watched the World Cup, like, as a casual fan. Like, I watched the World Cup, and I support Team USA, even though Team USA isn't very good. But I watched Landon Donovan, Tim Howard, guys like that. So one day, my friend, my Nigerian roommate, his name was Daramola. Big shout out to Daramola. Daramola was sitting down, and he was watching Arsenal play one day, and they happened to be playing Everton. And I remember I sat down when I watched the game. They were playing at Goodison Park. It was a night game, so they were under the lights at Goodison Park. And literally, Arsenal, they lost to Everton 2-1. We scored 2 goals that day. We scored on 2 set pieces, one from Seamus Coleman, run from Ashley Williams, who's absolutely horrible as a defender. But um, the place erupted, and I could feel the electricity of Goodison Park through the TV screen. And I didn't really care, and I just wanted to badger my roommate, so I started saying, shout out to Everton, and I would give him a hard time for Arsenal losing to Everton. And he kept saying that Everton sucked, and Everton was this, and Everton was that. So then I'm like, well, I didn't know any better. So then I'm like, well, is this true? So then I literally Googled Everton's history, and then I started reading about Everton's history. I started reading about the 9 league titles. I started reading about the 5 FA Cups. I started reading about Dixie Dean's English goal scoring record. I started reading about all these things, and I started saying, what are you talking about? It's the 4th most successful club in England. How can you say it's so? And then also I found out that Everton hasn't won a trophy since the year I was born, which was 1995. So I fell in love with the club. The team. I was a big fan of Lukaku when I first started watching Everton. Then I started realizing Everton has some connections to boxing. Obviously, I know Tony Bellew is a massive Evertonian, and I actually met him. I met Tony Bellew just days before I became an Evertonian, which is ironic. And I know Everton has some connections to boxing. So Tony Bellew fought and won his world title at Goodison Park against Makabu. That's one connection that Everton has to boxing. And another connection that Everton has to boxing was that Muhammad Ali, before he fought Henry Cooper in 1966, he was training around London, I believe it was, before Everton played their FA Cup final. And there was this iconic picture. I actually bought a hoodie of it. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's Muhammad Ali shadow boxing, and you can see a bunch of Everton supporters. And you can see the sign that says Everton for the Cup. So, just that game that I watched, learning the history of the club, the connections to boxing, and then not even just that, knowing that as an American, most of the biggest American players, the names that I know as a casual fan, from Tim Howard to Landon Donovan to Brian McBride, I know those names. Those are it might be a joke to you guys, but those are American footy legends, soccer legends, and it was a no-brainer. So it's been Everton for a while now. And yes, Neville Southall, an absolutely exceptional goalkeeper. When we talk Everton Football Club, we're talking about legends. We're talking about Howard Kendall, Colin Harvey, Alan Ball, Graham Sharp, Gary Lineker, Wayne Rooney. Okay, legends. Dixie Dean, Tommy Lawton. I can go on and on. Y'all don't really understand. I'm a massive boxing fan, but aside from boxing, massive Everton. I have Everton books in my house. I read Everton books. Got Everton merch. It's gotten pretty insane how much I love the Blues. I really appreciate that, Otis. I appreciate that a lot. I really appreciate that a lot, man. I'm still learning about the sport. You never stop learning. But yeah, get your money on England for 2022 World Cup. We have insane talent coming through. The 100 million pound rated kids: Jordan Sancho, Phil Foden, Hodison Abbey, Angel Gomez, Reece Nelson, Harry Kane. You forgot Adamola Lookman. You forgot Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You forgot my main man Tom Davies. Shout out to England. How much do you hate the Reds? I absolutely hate the Reds. I can't stand Liverpool. I think the world would just be better if, honestly, if they just dropped a big bomb on Anfield with nobody there. Of course, I don't want nobody to die, but if they dropped a big bomb on Anfield and it just disappeared from the world, it'd be a better place. I can't stand Liverpool for the life of me. I don't want to see them win the league this year. Hopefully, Liverpool, I just hope they lose. I hope they lose to Newcastle tomorrow. I can't stand them. And it pisses me off too, because in the time I've supported Everton, we've never beaten Liverpool home or away. So I really the first loss I ever experienced as an Evertonian, watching them and supporting them, was that game a couple years ago where Sadio Mane scored in the 94th minute at Goodison Park, and just right then and there, I immediately hated the Reds. And then when you learn about what happened with the Heysel Stadium disaster and how they robbed Everton of European glory and all the English teams got banned, and I really don't like them. I don't like them. I never want them to win a damn thing. I don't like anything about Liverpool. I can't stand Mohamed Salah. He's a fraud. I can't stand Jurgen Klopp. He's the most overrated manager in the league. I don't like their jerseys. I don't like nothing about them. I don't like nothing about Liverpool. I don't like Anfield. I don't like anything about them. I don't like. I hate. You'll Never Walk Alone. I hate that song. I wish that they would just outlaw it in England. I hate Liverpool so much. Like I hate Liverpool so much that I wanted Scott Fitzgerald to beat Anthony Fowler in the recent fight, just because Anthony Fowler's I think his uncle is Robbie Fowler. So that's how deeply it runs. I really am a blue. I know I'm an American. I don't really have any connections to Liverpool, but I love Everton. I almost never miss games. Like it's rare that I miss an Everton game, a match. I think the whole time I support Everton, I probably missed like 2 or 3 matches, and most of them were because of me traveling and I wasn't able to buy a TV. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I was born British. I don't know, man. I have a lot of love for the Brits, and I love the Premier League, and I have to get over there, man. I have to get over there soon. Big shout out to Preston. Maybe me and Shannon Briggs are one and alike. Like Shannon Briggs is an American, but you see him over there. He's in the UK. He's got a business over there now, and he's not ever coming back to America. That guy's having too much fun. And it might be the same for me in the future. England won the Under-17 World Cup, Under-19 European Championship, and the Under-20 World Cup. Liverpool have blown the Champions League this year. That's right. And Everton Under-23s won they won Premier League too. For like the second time in 3 years. Yeah, I know when England won the Under-20 World Cup, Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored the game-winning goal against Venezuela, and we had Lookman playing, we had Kieran Dowell, we had John Joe Kenny. It kind of sucks though, because now Sheffield United got promoted, so now Kieran Dowell is not coming back to Everton, and I really had high hopes for him as a player. Is this Kevin Durant's last year at Golden State? Absolutely, he's not coming back. He wants to go prove that he was the man, and he wants people to give him all this credit. But he's a wimp. I don't like Kevin Durant. I have no respect for him. Great player, exceptional talent, but he'll never be respected until he goes somewhere else and he wins. And he knows that. He knows that. So I think it's his last year in Golden State. 1000%. You'll be bigging up cricket next. Nah, baseball. I'm sorry. Never that. I remember when I was like 15 or 16, I lived in this motel when I was in middle school, or 14. I was like 14. When I lived in middle school, I had this Indian landlord, and he used to watch cricket all the time. And this guy used to tell me that cricket games would last 23 hours sometimes, and I couldn't do that shit. Baseball. I like baseball. That's one thing. I'm an American. I'm a Yank, and I love my baseball. And you are not going to take my baseball away from me. And I will never substitute it with something like cricket. I'm sorry. It used to piss me off because I played baseball very competitively for like the first 15 years of my life. Like 16 years of my life. I was pretty good too. And it used to anger me when I would go to the baseball fields and I would see people using them to play cricket. So, what's up, Christian Lewis? What does Mikey Garcia do next? Stay at welterweight or drop down to 140? If I were him, I would stay at 140 and just try to win there, because he goes 140. He's not winning anything at 147. He don't got it up there. At 140, I think his best bet is to go there and try to fight someone like Maurice Hooker. But even that's not a given, because Maurice Hooker's improved a lot as a fighter. He's no slouch. So I would do that. Christian Lewis says, I'm trying to figure out baseball. It confuses me. Yes, I noticed that with a lot of Brits, because one of my roommates, he was Nigerian British. And we sat him down, me and my friend Paul, we tried to sit him down and explain to him the rules of baseball, and he just did not get it. He did not get baseball one bit. It's a lot more, there's more rules and intricacies to baseball than there is footy, you know? So, but I'll tell you this though, once you actually learn what's going on in baseball, it is one of the most beautiful sports in the world. Because in baseball, it's a lot like footy in some ways. It's one of the only sports in the world. It's a lot like soccer. It's one of the only sports in the world where you can have the best players and not be able to win anything. You know, it's like I'm a big fan. My favorite team in baseball is the Miami Marlins, and the Miami Marlins are like we're a weird club because we have like a weird history, because like we've been around for 25 seasons. And we've only made the MLB playoffs twice. But the only 2 times we made the MLB playoffs, we won the World Series. We won the championship. So we're like one of the only. We're one of the only two No, my favorite team. We're one of only 6 baseball teams out of 30. So there's 30 teams in Major League Baseball. We're one of only 6 teams that have won multiple World Series championships since 1990. The only other teams that have done that have been the since 1993. So the only teams that have done that have been the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Cardinals, the Giants, and one other team whose name I can't remember right now. But we're like an elite company, but we don't. The Marlins get talked down a lot because we had the longest playoff drought in baseball right now. We haven't made the playoffs since 2003, and we've had 4 fire sales, which are basically like every time we win a World Series, we trade all our best players away. So we're kind of like a combination of Ajax, Southampton, and Leicester City all in one. That's our history. Kind of like those 3 clubs in soccer. Have you ever heard of Dixie Dean? Everton legend, scored 16 this season. Bit before my time, though. Of course. Of course. One of the first things I learned about Everton was Dixie Dean. William Ralph Dean, Dixie Dean. 60 goals in the season. The greatest English striker who ever drew breath. Harry Kane ain't got shit on Dixie Dean. Mr. Everton. He is our standard. He is who every Evertonian who puts on that shirt should aspire to be. Yes, I know Dixie Dean. I can name you all the great Everton strikers, from Dixie Dean to Gary Lineker to Graham Sharp to Tommy Lawton to just Andy Gray. Oh my God, so many. Bob Latchford, Joe Royal. You should do a video explaining the rules and how baseball works. You know what I'll do? Because I'm actually planning on going to a Marlins game soon, a local baseball game, Major League Baseball game at Marlins Park. Maybe when I go to Marlins Park, I'll literally go to Marlins Park and I'll point out to you guys how baseball works, and you guys can tune in for that. That'll be a video within itself. True School Sports explains to Brits the rules of baseball. But I'm telling you, it's a great game. I know. Look, I'm not gonna get mad at British people for slagging off the NFL and American football, because I'm not gonna lie to you. Even as an American myself, I like the NFL, but in comparison to English football or footy at large, world football, it's not as exciting and it's not as good. It's not as dynamic of a sport. I'll admit that, and I'm an American. But baseball, it's a bit slow, but once you can understand it, it's one of the most beautiful sports out there. It's kind of like, I would compare like baseball to drinking a wine, okay? Drinking a fine wine. You wanna digest it slowly and enjoy it, But it's a very great. It's a great game. It's one of the best games out there. And I mean, in baseball, it's like you can have the most money and not do a damn thing. Like, for example, arguably the most successful sporting franchise anywhere is the New York Yankees. They have 27 world championships, okay? But the New York Yankees are rich. They're worth $1 billion. I believe they might be the most valuable sports team out there in the world. They're up there, like in the top 3. They haven't won a World Series in 10 years, and they're going on 11, and that's like a long time for them. They used to win in the World Series all the time, so they get the best players. They have like all-star lineups, and they haven't won a World Series in 10 years, 11 years, And then you could be a team like my favorite team, the Miami Marlins, the Florida Marlins. But they were the Florida Marlins when they won the World Series, and you can win the World Series on a shoestring payroll and beat the Yankees. So it's a great game. Jimmy Greaves or Dixie or both? I like Dixie Dean. It's my guy. Dixie Dean forever. Best striker who ever drew breath. Is Tank Davis versus Gary Russell possible? Who wins? I think Al Heyman. Yeah, I heard he blocked that fight, and it would make a lot of sense to make that fight, because that fight would sell extremely well in the Washington D.C. area. They're both names in the D.C. area. They're both top level fighters from the D.C. area. So that's just what it is, man. Shouts out to both of them. Hopefully that fight can come off and happen at some point. But I don't know. Maybe Al Heyman's got bigger plans for them. Yeah, no, Jacobs for Canelo, for those of you who are just funneling in, my Jacobs Canelo prediction is I got Canelo stopping Jacobs. I just don't think Jacobs had their ability to deal with the Canelo body shots. And I think he will have some success, and like someone said earlier, he will run into a massive, something really nasty and just get hurt really, really bad. That's just my opinion. Yeah, he's looking huge, man. He did say after the Fury fight that he did plan on putting on some muscle mass. So we'll see how big he is on fight night. Count Drago says Oakland A's all day. Hey, no, I got no problems with the Oakland A's. I like the Oakland A's. They're kind of like the Marlins in some ways. You know, a small market team who's always, you know, pushing on for big things. The Oakland A's have had a lot of success, a lot of great teams in the past. I like the A's. I got respect for the A's. Of the two Bay Area teams, I like the A's a lot more than I like the Giants. Fuck the Giants. But yeah, for the Brits out there that are watching this, baseball is a great sport, and I think if y'all took the time to understand it, you might like it. You know, the same way I had to take the time to understand the inner workings of the English Premier League, and I love the Premier League. I'm about to watch it here in about 5 minutes. So, heavyweights from 5 to 10. The top 10? 5 to 10. So it's a 5 going down to 10. You're asking me, right? 5 to 10. Fifth. Let's see. So one. Right now. I would say I have like Joshua 1, Fury 2, Dillian White 3. Okay, Wilder can be 4. 5, Povetkin. 6, maybe Ortiz. No, 6 Parker, 7 Ortiz, 8. I mean, he got tested positive for PEDs, but you know, I would have had Joe Miller like 8. Number 9. You know, even though he hasn't fought yet, you know, Usyk's got to be in the mix somewhere there. I don't know, man. I'll have to have a list in front of me, but off the cuff, that's kind of how my order would shake out. Who do you want Everton to sign this summer? That's a great question. Now, my signings are all very ambitious signings. I don't think we're going to get these guys, but I know Everton has been heavily linked to Ajax winger David Neres, the Brazilian. I think that would make a lot of sense for us because Theo Walcott will not be coming back to Everton in the summer. Adamola Lookman is probably going to go to Crystal Palace or some London club because he needs playing time. He's too good to be rotting away on our bench. And David Neres' agent is also Richarlison's agent, and he has been heavily linked to Everton. He also wants to go to England because his girlfriend is some sort of supermodel. She lives in England, so Everton's looking like a good move for him. So David Neres on the wing would be good. I would like to see us bring back Nikola Vlasic from CSKA Moscow back on loan and give him a proper run of games next year. Aside from that, I want to see us sign a top quality striker. So I would like Diego Costa, which I don't know if going to happen either because I don't know. We have the money. We don't have European football to offer these guys, and it's a tough sell. But you know, I would say David Neres is a target. I want us to definitely re-sign Andre Gomez on a permanent deal. I want us to keep Kurt Zuma on a permanent deal. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't thought too much about who we're gonna sign, but nah, I don't really watch a lot of French football, so I didn't see that that game. Dave Allen, yes, the White Rhino, get in there, Rhino, get in there. Just joking with you. I'm looking forward to his fight though with David Price. We'll see what he does. But hey, it's been great talking to you guys. I'm actually gonna go ahead and get off here so I can go watch the Everton game. Let's see. The next time I'll be live will probably be Saturday for the Daniel Jacobs fight. So y'all can come back and watch me. My dad will be here. Alex will be here. It'll be a fun live fight reaction. So yeah, stay tuned for that. It's been great talking to you guys. And yeah, we'll definitely see what we can do about getting your boy BT over to the UK as soon as possible. But like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Have a good evening.